Whenever I wear my hair in cornrows, I get so many comments basically just saying, girl, I wish I knew how to cornrow. And I feel like we owe it to the ancestors to know how to cornrow. So I'm going to show you the bare basics, how you can cornrow your hair just in a straight line. This looks a little slanted, but it's really just a difference of how you're parting. But never mind that, we're going to get into all the specifics. If you're new here, my name is Niara Alexis. I mostly focus on hair content, a little bit of lifestyle, a little bit of beauty. So if you're into that, you might want to go ahead and subscribe and follow me on the other socials too. Now, before we start, we're doing this on clean hair. If you want to do it on like an old silk press, that could actually work too if you want to extend your wash day. But I'm doing mine on clean, fresh hair. If you want the full wash day breakdown and everything, I'll link that video down below for you. And I am not using a smoothing blow dryer, so if you've seen my content before, you know I typically use the GHD Duet blow dry because it really smooths out my curls for my silk press. For cornrows, I don't think that's necessary. I'm literally just using a blow dryer and my brush here to comb through my hair and to get it stretched, but not necessarily straight. So I'm just using my Dyson Supersonic blow dryer today, and then my unbrush, which is a very good brush if your hair is like super tangly. I highly recommend. Also, a little housekeeping note for anybody that is new here, I do link all the products that I'm using down below in the description, so you will see all the links down there. If you missed anything, if you're curious about anything, check down there on my discount codes, shop my Amazon storefront, all of that is down below in the description, okay? Before we get into the tutorial, I do usually get a lot of questions about how long I wear my cornrows for. I typically only wear mine for a week, and that's just because by day 5, 6, they start to look a little Meek Millie, okay? And if you know what I mean by Meek Millie, then you know. I do protect my hair at night. I'm not just sleeping on them. I put a scarf over my head, nothing really fancy, so just use whatever you got to tie your hair down. Now, after I blow dried my hair, I'm going to go in with the sacred oil ritual. I am using a lot heavier products that I typically would than if my hair was going into a silk press, you know? Just because, you know, cornrows, protective styles, like it can handle it. I'm not really counting on my hair to be like light, fluffy, and airy. It doesn't really need all that. I'm actually braiding it up, so the more I can do to like seal in all the moisture and everything, which we know oils don't what moisturize, they what seal, okay? A little call and repeat there. Anyways, so that's what I'm doing. The other thing that I do is I pre-part my hair. Now you'll notice at the beginning of this video I start off with like 5 big braids, and by the end of this video I think I end up with 7. A little note for you, if you're a beginner, I know you might think, oh, it's easier for me to do 2 big cornrows on each side of my head. Wrong. You're going to want to do smaller ones. And I know you're probably like, girl, that don't make no sense. I'm not that good at this. Smaller cornrows hide mistakes better than bigger ones. Bigger cornrows, that hair has to be sleek, okay? That cornrow has to be done to perfection. The bigger the cornrow, or should I say the less cornrows you have, the better you should be at them. If you're kind of mediocre like myself, because I don't even think I'm that good of a cornrower, you want to do like maybe 6, 7, 8 even. If you real bad, maybe do more than that. If you're really good, you can get away with doing just 2 cornrows or 4 cornrows because you can sleek that hair right up. I'm not that great at them. And then also you want to make sure you have like a hand mirror too, just so you can see the back of your head. That's a question I get a lot. It's like, how do you see the back? Girl, same way as you do. I don't. I just use the mirror. And then after I've pre-parted everything, I go and do what I call like a rough cornrow just to make sure the hair is all sectioned off. Because if you try to section and part as you go, it's just going to be a nightmare. So just pre-part everything, braid everything down. It'll make things go by a lot quicker for you too. Now for braiding hair, I did use about like a pack of braiding hair. I don't know, have you guys noticed this? When you go to the beauty supply store now, you can't buy just one singular pack of braiding hair. It's like all those like jumbo packs that has like 3 like bundles of hair kind of look at that. I don't know. I use like one of those. I'll put a picture up here on the screen. I'll have it also linked down below in the description for you because I found it on Amazon, and I'm using shade number 2. I find that that matches really well with me. My hair isn't quite 1B like I thought it was. It's a little bit lighter, so shade number 2 works well for me. I don't use a ton of hair. Per braid, I'm probably using about 5, 6, maybe 7 pieces of hair, and they vary in sizes. Okay, you want to make sure you're stretching your hair, especially if you intend to have them hanging down. But pro tip, if you're not that great at cornrows, you probably don't want to do that just yet. You know, like the braids that's just laying straight down flat and they hanging down. Don't do those yet. Okay, you're gonna braid your hair up and you're gonna wrap it up in a little bun. You're gonna see what mine looks like at the end, because my braids, like, they look nice like on the scalp, but when it comes to the hang time, oh honey, they look quite raggedy. Okay, but what I was saying about the braiding hair, they kind of vary in size. Like, it goes up. Like, the first piece of braiding hair I put in is pretty small. Now, the edge control that I'm using is from the Main Choice. I really like this one because it actually doesn't flake up a lot. And what you'll see here is that I put the edge control only on my hair. None of this lining the scalp with edge control. You also notice when I parted my hair off, I wasn't using edge control to part it. Edge control sitting on your scalp like that is not good. It's not good. That's why your hair be all itchy, then it start being all flaky, and then you want to take the style out in like 2 days because your hair doesn't feel good. It's not because anything is wrong with style necessarily, but it doesn't feel great. And then I showed you guys the Sacred hair and scalp balm before. Now that is what I put on my scalp. I lined my scalp with that. Okay, so now we're into the meat of it. You're just gonna start braiding. I can't explain it any other way than that. And as you go, you're gonna pick up a piece of hair. Now, one thing that I used to do that used to throw me off so much is I would stop, I would let go of my braid, and I would try to section off like a row of hair behind where I was braiding and section it off into 3 parts. Because, you know, braids have 3 strands, so that's what made sense to me. You don't need to do that. Even though your braid has 3 strands, think of it as only 2 sides. So if you see here, I'm crossing over to each side. Each time I cross over to a new side, I'm just picking up a little bit more hair as I go. Okay, so you see I'm gonna cross over here. Look at this, boom. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more hair with that thumb behind it and just keep braiding. Don't worry about like how neat it looks, especially if you're first starting, because it's not gonna look the best. And if you have a little bit of edge control or a little hair grease or something down, that's gonna help aid you in like the smoothness of everything. That's why I put the little bit of edge control in and I smoothed it down. And for me, when I'm adding braiding hair, I don't start adding braiding hair until about like halfway back. I don't want my braids to look too big and chunky from the front. I want them to kind of gradually get bigger and have more weight towards the back, if that makes sense. I'm also using the braiding hair for a little bit of length so that I have enough hair to wrap up into a bun, because if I started it at the very front, my braids would probably be the same length as my natural hair and it's not long enough to wrap up into a bun. We'll say though, if you are a beginner, focus on learning how to cornrow first before you start to add in braiding hair. So I would just try to figure out like how to get the bare bones, like even if it's not sleek, how to get that down. If you work from home, this is the perfect time for you to try it because nobody's gonna be seeing you. No one's gonna see you. I learned how to cornrow during COVID because nobody saw me. That's when I did the most experiments on my hair. And I also mentioned that I use that Sacred hair and scalp balm. Not only did I put it on my scalp, but I put it on my actual hair as well. It's a great feeling type of product. It kind of like goes from a balm down to like an oil type of feel. So I love it to put it on my hair when I'm going into protective styles. I use it for my knotless braids, for cornrows, when I put my hair in twists. Like, I'm always using that product. I highly recommend it. So again, I'm going in here with a little bit of edge control. You see how much I'm using? Not a ton, not a ton. And also, this didn't flake up on me throughout the week. It didn't start to look crusty or pasty or anything. Highly recommend this Main Choice edge control if you're looking for a new one, because typically edge controls and me don't really get along, as in like my hair doesn't necessarily lay down with them like they do for everyone else. And it might be pricey, but this Sacred edge brush, I really like it. The bristles on it like feel like a brush. I don't know, other edge control bristles like don't feel like nothing to me. So I'm going to walk you through it again just for good measure. You're just going to start braiding, and each time that you cross over, you're going to pick up a little bit more hair. So you see, let's cross over, boom, I'm picking up some more hair. Think of it as 2 sides. Do not think of it as 3 separate parts. And you don't have to have the parts like separated or anything like that. You also when you hear people talk about cornrows and stuff, you talk about like their grip and things like that. You see how I'm gripping this hair? Don't grip it too tight to where you're pulling your hair follicles out, but you need to have a good grip on it so that your braid isn't unraveling or becoming loose as you move on. So if you don't have a good enough grip on it, you'll find that like, okay, like the part that I'm working on right now, it looks okay, but like up near the front of the braid, it looks very loosey-goosey. That used to happen to me a lot too. I also want you guys to pay attention to my middle finger whenever I stop. You see how that middle finger comes in and it's just holding the braid there? That middle finger is instrumental in making sure that your braid doesn't become too loose, it doesn't unravel. Every time I go back in to cross over, that middle finger is always coming into play to make sure everything is staying where it's supposed to be, okay? So I hope that was helpful. I'm gonna let you guys finish watching me braid this out. It's not that much left, but that's how I do it, and it works well for me. Again, if you work from home, which I know a lot of us do, or you have like a semi-remote job, you have the perfect scenario to experiment with cornrows and to just experiment with your hair in general, because do it on a day where you know that you don't have to go into work the next day. You know, if you know you're not going into work on Monday and Tuesday, you only go in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, great. Do some cornrows on Saturday and see if you can like figure it out, and just keep doing it. I always tell you guys, repetition is the best way to learn. I didn't wake up one day and just start knowing how to do this. My hair used to look raggedy too. I just had to keep doing it in order to perfect it. And it's not even perfect, but just get it to a point where I'm comfortable with it. So I'll have all the products linked down in the description, and all my other info will be down there. Socials, Shop My, Amazon storefront, all that stuff will be down there, okay?